Welcome, MoRsei. We look at his track Awakend, which has been over a month in the Beatport top 3 and hit #1 in the Beatport charts. And it got played by Ace Ventura in Boom Festival and Ozora Festival. And it's an amazing track. And one reason why this track performed so well is the break and the build-up and the drop, which we will have a closer look today.
Hey, Andy, pleasure to be here again. I think it will be a really interesting track to show. I think it's a really good one for the break and the build up. It worked amazing when Ace Ventura played it in Boom Festival in Ozora. The crowd went crazy, so I think it will be really nice to show. So yeah, this is a collaboration with Relativ, amazing artist. It got released this year on Ace Ventura's label, who is one of my biggest inspirations. So we're really happy with it, and it worked amazing in the dance floor. Basically, we have the first part of the break, which is the atmospheric part. We have the vocal, which is a really good one. I think it really adds up to the theme, to the story. But we'll see about the build up, especially, and how we go into a full drums drop. And you will see that it's not that elaborated as maybe the drop that we saw previously from Earth. Because it doesn't need to be, So sometimes the more simple stuff, it really works. Yeah, sometimes we don't need to do overly complex things to actually make it work. Anyway, the break as a whole is it has some complex stuff with the whole atmospheres playing and everything, the percussions, the vocals and everything. But the build up is pretty straightforward. So let's see what happens here. We have the melody playing, that it's 2 layers. We have these acid layers that really add up to the tension especially in the beginning of the kick roll. So basically, why I didn't do more layers to the melody, it was because Relativ already did this once, so it wasn't really needed to do more layers to it. I think 2 layers was good enough because we have a lot of things going on here. These ones were really good for the tension part, so I think 2 layers really worked.
MoRsei prepared 5 leads for you guys to download, so you can drop them in as samples into your track. Or there's also MIDI files for 4 of them, where you can check out how the leads have been done, or you can adapt them, or you can use different presets so to make them more of your own. So if you want to have that, there's a link in the description box below.
And then we have the standard kick rolls that basically it's starting slow, so it's playing like 1/4 basic position for the kick, and then we go into a faster one, right? And then we go even faster afterwards. So this matches the crashes as well. Crashes that are here. And all together, it just really works, right? And it goes into this amazing hook Relativ did for the drop. We had it like dry, and we delayed on top of the drop, and it just really worked. Just connected with a melody I made, and everything blended nicely. This part here, the melody starts going up again, filtered, while the hook fades out. It fades out the delay, and we have some other things that go on here to fill up the part, and it just works nicely. It's really powerful, really dance floor heavy. I think it really, really worked out. So there's other things that are important here. For example, this drum fills here, they match the rhythm of the hook in this part. We have this, and with the hook, it just feels really, really powerful. We have as well this vocal here that plays after 4 bars, and it really helps, this one really helps to mask kind of the melody going up. We stop hearing the hook here, so we needed something to play after 4 bars. Yeah, I felt we really need something there. So if I have it without, let's see how it works. In comparison to really add something in the 4th bar. Otherwise, I feel it's too plain. It also it's kind of shout going into the crash in the 8 bar change. So everything just adds up. Then we have this one to fill up as well, which it's really needed. I felt it was really needed when we went into the full drums, because it really fills up. So let's see what happens without. So you can probably get away without that one, but honestly, it really, really fills up. Well, the melody is going up, and everything is going up. So it's just really subtle as well, but it really fills up. It's important to always, A/B and see if it really adds up, or if it doesn't. If it doesn't, you just remove it. Some parts can feel maybe slightly empty or too empty, so it's nice to have this kind of like background elements to fill up the part, and it really helps. Andy, any questions?
Yeah, I have some questions. So
Yeah.
you showed the melody and the acid layers, and I
Yeah.
have the feeling that the rhythms of those kind of like match.
Yeah.
So the acid is kind of like more simple. It doesn't have kind of like much notes. I think it's just
Yeah.
the tonic
Yeah,
or
it's
the
just
key.
the rhythm. Yeah.
Yeah, but it still has kind of like a rhythm in it, and I felt that the rhythm aligns with the top notes of the melody a bit. Is that the case? And if so, can you explain a bit?
I have to say, I did it. If I did it, I did it unconsciously, So, but it probably does. So you see, they do match. But I really didn't think about it when I was doing it, to be honest. To be completely honest, I didn't think about it. I did the melody. I tried it with this ones, and it worked. It worked, and it worked nicely.
As we're speaking about this, did he send you kind of like his elements first and then you jammed on top of it, or what was the workflow behind that?
Yeah, and this is a nice topic to speak about. how to collaborate, right? I think when you do collabs on the internet, because we all live far away from each other, usually when you do collabs, you start a track, you do like, let's say 40-50%, and you send it to the other person. The other artist, they just finish it, right? And they finish one first draft. You add some sounds on top, and that's it, But with Relativ, they really, really feel like a collaboration. And we both do things in each part, Every time we have made a collaboration, it was the same workflow. I started a track, just an idea of the track, maybe like, let's say 3 minutes, but not like entirely done. So I sent it to him. He added sounds to that part. He did the rest as well. He did like he finished the track, like structure and everything, and he sent me back the project, right? Then I worked on it again and I added more stuff. In each part, we just blended his sounds with mine, and yeah, everything just, gets really connected together and really nice. It really feels like a real collaboration where we're both, in the studio and working on it, because we both do in each part, it's not like he does one part and I do the other and that's it. We both place sounds in each part, and that's really amazing. And probably that's why I really like collaborating with him as well. He's an amazing artist. Sometimes you do collaborations and you just do one part, the other guy finishes it, and that's it, and it's like the first part is one artist, the second part is the other artist. Not my favorite style of collaborating, let's say. So because you're kind of like missing the artist touch in one part, right? Each artist touch in one part. So I think doing it like this, more like a ping-ponging the project, we ping-pong the project like 4 times at least between each other, and we just add sounds, and we think like, okay, what's better for this part? Okay, we should remove this sound, we should clear this part, we should add something. We just like throw ideas of how to make it better, and it really works. It really works. And I really advise anyone who is doing collaborations to really look for that, because you learn a lot as well. You learn a lot by seeing what the other guy is doing as well, because we all have different views of how we do music, right? And getting a different view from other artists, and especially from someone who's really good, like Relativ, it's amazing, because you learn that way. So I really encourage anyone who is learning production to do collaborations and to not just do one part of the track and send it and that's it, do real collaborations, ping pong the project, think together what you want to transmit with a track, think together what you want for that. It's really important.
Do you have both the same DAW, like Cubase, or different ones?
Yeah, we both use Cubase, which helps. Definitely helps. I have to say, when I collaborate with someone who doesn't use Cubase, yeah, it's much harder. It's much harder. Usually, the best collaborations, they are usually with people with the same DAW, because it's way easier. But that doesn't mean you can't do it with different DAWs. You can still do it. It's just more work, because you need to render stems and ping pong the stems, and it can be like slightly more messy, let's say. It can be messier. I think it's worth it. And I have done collaborations with people with other DAWs, and they were amazing. For example, with Starlab, and yeah, with you now, we have our new collaboration coming out. I don't know when, but it's coming out. And we both you use Ableton, I use Cubase, so it really worked out. But yeah, it's easier with the same DAW for sure.
So if you want to get coached by MoRsei directly, so one of the best artists out there, he can show you exactly, because he had made like a lot of failures on his own career, and now he kind of like figured out how to make like tracks which really rock and get into the Beatport charts and get played by the big artists. And if you want to get this knowledge and for your own music, so that you can release your music as well, as our students did, like on Daku Records, a lot of them, then this is the chance for you to join our program. him. And yeah, it will be amazing. It will be amazing for your career and for your next steps in your Psytrance production.
Yeah, along the years, I learned from my mistakes. I learned a lot from my mistakes. This is what I try to teach the guys, push them to the next level and save them time, because you spend a lot of time until you realize stuff. I feel that, with someone with experience, you shorten the time that they take to release a track, for example. I mean, the guys are releasing in Dakru and they have been producing for 2 years. And that's amazing, Even we have one guy producing since like 1 year ago. It's crazy. Yeah, it really, really helps with the weekly feedbacks and everything. It just really helps to progress faster.
Yeah, and I find time is really important actually, because a lot of people kind of like give up on the way because it takes so long to get something really good. I feel like in the beginning, like everything is like super motivating and super exciting, but then you get into this like valley of death where you realize how bad your music still is, but you still want to sound good.
Bro, I uninstalled Ableton back in the day. It was 2017. Start of 2017, I uninstalled everything. I didn't produce for 2 months or 3 months, or I don't know if even more. After a few months, I came back and I was motivated again, and I'm here now, but I feel that saving time is really, really important, and to keep the ball rolling and to be motivated with every step you do, you take. And this is what we want to achieve with every student. They start, they finish a track. Okay, this track is good. Let's try get it released, and keep motivated. Keep everyone motivated, and that's the most important part, I think. There's where I feel we can help. We can really help to save time for people to achieve the goals they want faster and in a better way, and this is really important to stay motivated.
There's a link in the description box below to the course, but also to a free roadmap. You can basically sign up and watch a few videos about how to develop yourself as an artist. So I would invite you as well to get that. You mentioned that the transition is only 1 bar. Can you explain a bit the reasons for that? Why you want to have it shorter if you go into full groove after?
Yeah.
Do you lose the energy, or if you would, for example, do like a 4 bar with like in the other track where the kick gets filtered down or something?
That's pretty much the reason. When you go for a solo kick and bass drop, you usually want this kind of time to breathe part where everything kind of gets reset and then you go into a drop and it feels like way more powerful. It's not the case usually for the whole drums groove. I'm not saying you should always do 1 bar. I mean, there's ways of doing like 2 bar or 4 bars even with the full drums. But usually since we're coming with a melody and we're like dropping and the melody will start like going back up again, or maybe you drop with the entire melody, without filtering. It just, in my opinion, usually it works better with 1 bar. But of course, there's no rules. Mainly this one, I think I really found it because Relativ did this hook here, which I always tell him because I love, this is his particular style. He does this melodic hooks that are amazing. And I told him, man, please do a melodic hook for this. So so I think it really worked for this part to just delay it on top, So it's just like the replica here and his melodic hook and just delaying over the part. And then you have the melody filtering up, right? And it really works. It just blends together, right?
I really feel the hook kind of like completes the melody before. I don't know if you have the same feeling, like that the melody is going on and it rounds it up in the end.
Yeah, it kind of feels that way, right? I think I kind of made the melody kind of like based on that hook, It was kind of like,
the hook was first.
Yeah, the hook was first. Yeah, actually the hook was first, and then I did the melody. So I think, yeah, it just connected nicely, It just connected nicely. Speaking out the ping-pong, I remember, yeah, he did all this part with acids here, and we were missing still the melody. But he did another lead for the next part, which connects with this one, right? So there was a space missing for the melody, and I did the melody, and we connected it with his hook, and it just worked really, really great. Basically, how we worked this part and the others, like all of the parts, we always leave this kind of like space for the other to work on and fill up with his sounds, so
you're going directly into full groove. This only works if you have like more of a 3-partish track or one with a really long break, or how do you avoid that that the full groove doesn't get boring, that you have too many like parts with open hi-hat and everything in it?
Well, this is an interesting question. Yeah, absolutely. This is a really, really interesting question, and it's a really good topic to speak about, actually, because usually what I do, I try to, but this is me, this is, of course, there's no rules. I think you can do the structure as you want, this is music, so there's no rules. But if you ask me, if I had a middle part where I was going with the drums and everything, and I didn't have this dry drop here, if I didn't have this, if I were to have the drums here, I would not do this kind of drop here because it would be too monotonous, So probably if I were to have like all this part with like the drums and everything, I would do like a dry drop here just to have one dry drop in the entire track. Not dry, but I mean like kick and bass drop, right? Without the drums. So I try to balance the tracks. They have at least one drop with a solo kick and bass, to not do, for example, three kick and bass drops. It could be too much. For example, maybe if I do like here and here, and then I do like kick and bass drop again, it can be too much, but there's no rules, but I try to balance it out, so we have like different drops in the whole track.
Thank you for the insights in this track. It was really interesting as always. So thank you so much of having you as a guest.
Big pleasure.
Some important announcements to make. MoRsei and me, we're starting a label. So that will be a really killer thing with a lot of like good artists already on it. Already like a huge release schedule with big names, so you can be really like curious what's going on here. We had some of our students in the course releasing top 10 in the Beatport charts as well.
Half of the students we have right now are releasing in Dakru. They will release in our label as well. So everything's going so nicely. Everyone's progressing so fast. I'm absolutely confident that anyone who joins and is consistent enough will get to the next level.
For sure. That's actually why I want to invite you guys, if you're a beginner, but also for intermediates. It doesn't really matter what level you have. We can help you at each level to develop your artist career. That's exactly what I would have needed, and that's what we're giving to you in this course. And it's really our obligation to bring you to the next level faster, so that you can really enjoy making music, that you can get those releases with the labels, and that you're able to play your music in clubs or maybe festivals, so that other people can actually hear and enjoy your music. And we would just like to invite you to this course because we know that we can help you. Now it's up to you if you want to get our help. Yeah, I feel really like that's our kind of like mission. So the music is already in the students. It's just like we are kind of like the catalyst, which brings them faster to where they can really express their ideas and sound good and sound pro, obviously. And I think the course helps really a lot in that. And if you are interested in that, then you find a link in the description box below directly to the course, what it's about, with modules and all that kind of like information. But there's also like a free roadmap, and you can access that free roadmap with clicking the other link and leaving your email address, and you get like a little video series which explains you actually how to get faster to your results as an artist. And that is also really exciting. So you find those links in the description box below. And thank you, MoRsei, for sharing all this knowledge here today. And I hope we see you soon again, maybe with another #1 hit. You explain us here. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.